What's going on, people? Fame and Tam here from LV1Gaming.com, and thank you guys for watching another one of our videos. Today we have something special on deck, a game that a lot of people have been anticipating, a game I know my compadre Logan have been very excited to talk about. And we've gotten lucky because we got some special guests with us today. And you guys know me, I know I like to facilitate these things, but with Logan being so excited to talk with our guest today, I'm actually going to swing things over to him. And he's going to run the show today, and I get to kind of sit back and be like a secondary guest. So with no further ado, Logan, take it away.
Oh, so what's up, guys? Welcome to Level 1 Gaming YouTube channel. And yes, we are going to be talking about Quantum Error today. I'm happy to announce we got Micah and Noah here that have been a big part of developing Quantum Error and bringing it to its fruition. So we got some questions with a little dev interview. And so, yeah, if you guys want to introduce yourself, go ahead. Go for it.
Yep. I'm Micah, and I'm the lead developer and owner.
I'm Noah, and I'm like vice president, dude.
And tech man.
Tech man.
Tech man. Okay. All right. So... so I got a list of questions for you guys, but I want to do a little icebreaker. You know, obviously we've been talking a little bit before because of the technical difficulties that we've had getting everything set up. But so one of the first things I'd like to throw out there for icebreaker, because it's always a question that is on my mind when I talked about gaming and stuff like that, is so I want to know what is your guys' favorite game of all time?
Oh, let's see here.
I go first because mine's easy.
Yeah, I say because I might have to think.
Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 4, okay.
Yep. To me, the best game ever made, and literally is just flawless. An absolute blast, and the story's phenomenal. So,
absolutely. Dude.
Hey, Noah, can I be controversial? Noah, with that,
yeah.
With your answer, Lost Legacy is better than Uncharted 4.
Ooh.
Really?
Ooh.
It's kind of surprising because I also played it. I thought the complete opposite. I thought it was nowhere near as good as Uncharted 4.
I'm still an Uncharted 2 stan. It's my favorite in that series, hands down.
I completely understand that because that game, really, they're all amazing, but 2 and 4 to me, they're just spectacular.
I've only played 4, so I only know Uncharted 4.
You only played 4?
I've only played 4, yeah.
It's phenomenal.
But gosh, as far as my favorite games, see, I have like a list of them, but I really think, I guess I have to kind of narrow it down to 3 because it would be between like Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Metal Gear Solid. Because I really can't.
I would say that those are all 3 solid choices. I kind of see the Doom Eternal a little bit in Quantum Error.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I've been a huge fan of all the Doom games ever since like I was little. And then of course I had the original, Final Fantasy VII back when I was, gosh, I don't even know how old now. I would have been small because I remember going to Toys R Us and seeing the huge display of Cloud holding the sword and everything, and gosh, I'm dying excited for the next part of the remake.
Nice, yes, absolutely, me too. I don't know, Fame, do you want to put your favorite game out there? I know this is a developer interview, but we can throw that out there.
I have a couple, but if I had to like put my finger on one, for me, it is the best Final Fantasy game, which is Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy IX is Zidane, and Vivi is my favorite mage in any Final Fantasy game. It's a close one between Gears 3 and Final Fantasy IX, but I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy IX just because I absolutely love the characters. I mean, of course I love the characters from Gears of War, but Final Fantasy is always hit different for me. And Final Fantasy IX, I will fight to the death of me for Zidane and Vivi. I know we get the remake for 7, and 16 is out, and we get these rumors about 9. Listen, if you Square Enix, listen to me. If you give us a remake of Final Fantasy IX, I will pay whatever it costs for the game and the platform that it's on. I could care less. Okay, you give me Final Fantasy IX. I'm 36 years old, but if I had to die the next day after it released, I would die a happy man. Okay, I just want to.
I've actually never played 9.
I haven't either.
I've never played 9.
Well, that's the end of this interview. Thank you. Play 9 is so good. It's so underrated. It's so good. It takes some of the best aspects from 8 and it's just so good. Please play it.
I'm gonna try it.
Please, I will buy it for you just so you can play it because I want more people to rejoice in the greatness that is Final Fantasy IX.
There's a lot of Final Fantasies I need to try because there's quite a few of them I haven't tried. So they recently got me to try 15, and I didn't like 15. I might get butchered for that.
You're not alone. I have a copy of it on PlayStation and Xbox, and I refuse to play either copy. I don't even know why I bought it. I'm like, yeah, I don't. From what I've seen, I didn't like it. But yeah, sorry.
I kind of want to see if Fame remembers my favorite game of all time, because I was on a 15 minutes of Fame. I did talk 15 minutes straight about my all-time favorite game.
Resi 4?
Resident Evil 4, baby. They ain't a better game out there.
I know my people. I know my people.
Oh my lord. Dude,
just to let you know, Resident Evil 4 is my top 3. It's my third.
It's my number one. I think it entombs everything that makes a game, but also being perfect in every aspect. Mm-hmm. I was so pumped when they did the collector or remake of the Resident Evil 4, because guess who I'm hanging out with? My boy Lee. I had to dump the money on it. Love the Resident Evil 4 remake, but yeah, no, that's my all-time favorite game. I don't have to think about it. It is just set in stone. It's the game that I've played the most repeatedly over and over. Played it on GameCube, PlayStation, Wii, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. Like, dude, I play that game so many times, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so that's my all-time favorite game. But that is not what we're here to obviously talk about Quantum Error. I just want to do that as an icebreaker question. So we're going to break into talking about Quantum Error, right? So I wanted to first question basically that I have for Quantum Error is that I would like to know how's the game involved, right? Because we've seen the game, I want to say it was 2020, right?
Yep.
When we first saw Quantum Error. So, like, how has the game evolved since its original announcement?
So, quite a bit. Originally, like, once we got done with Kings of Lorne, we knew we wanted to do a first-person shooter. So it was like that was automatic, and then it was kind of a matter of figuring out what the situation and like the background and who the character would be, and we knew right away that we wanted to put like a hero type character, but a normal hero character, not like a superhero or a super soldier or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and our dad been a firefighter his whole life, and now a paramedic, and so it was like, well, you know, firefighter is literally like the hero of real life, other than, you know, like military and EMS and stuff like that. So went with that, and then it was kind of a matter of like, I guess, who the enemy would be and stuff. I knew that we wanted to go with something that had to do with like the CERN Hadron Collider and it causing weird otherworldly stuff. So the original concept actually ended up being that you were going to be surviving in a complex where some really weird bad storm was going on that was causing all this like supernatural stuff. And the whole goal would be to escape. So that was kind of the original idea. It was going to be a very, very smaller game, maybe only a couple hours long. And from there, we started getting more and more ideas of like, okay, well, now we're gonna go more sci-fi, and now we got these ideas, and then when we announced it, then we got even more further input from fans, and we started adding more space into it. And basically, I would say for like the first year, it went from being like a simple, more like supernatural survival kind of concept to full-blown sci-fi cosmic horror with a firefighter.
Okay.
So it changed quite a bit. It got a lot bigger because, I mean, at this point, it's a 14 to 20 hour game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to say, because noted, I did beat the game, completed on Fire Chief, and I want to say I was probably at that like 18, around 20 hour mark, depending on how off the PlayStation tracking app is. But yeah, so definitely a decent title for straight, you know, first person shooter length. So and you kind of probably, my next question, you kind of answered a little bit, because I was going to ask, you know, what was like the team's like biggest inspirations for when they made Quantum Error. So I know you was talking about obviously a little bit of firefighters and kind of wanting a more of a grounded hero, right? Not a superhero, not any crazy superpowers and stuff like that. So, is there anything else that you'd want to add to that? I know you kind of already talked about it, but is there anything, any other inspirations that you guys use for Quantum Error?
Yeah, because the whole thing was originally like we wanted to stay away from zombies and that kind of stuff, even if some of the enemies still kind of come across in that kind of fashion. It was more about keeping things like in the alien kind of theme or cosmic kind of realm. Because one of our brothers that helped in the early stages of like doing like the outline of what would be going on, really liked H.P. Lovecraft kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm a big fan of some of that stuff, and so we kind of fused it together. I'm also a big fan of like a lot of different like mythologies and things. So, yeah, we kind of kept it in that direction instead of the traditional horror route, because there's enough of the traditional horror. We wanted to kind of go that way.
Okay.
So, pretty much.
Could I ask you? I know, of course, you've been president and vice president. How big is your team actually?
There is only 2 more of us.
4.
So there's 4 in total.
4.
And the 4 do a variety of things. So like all the art, the way the game looks, the programming, the functionality, and everything and music is all me. Noah did a majority of the level design.
Mm-hmm.
And Josiah does a variety of like coming up with the enemy ideas as well as some other things. And then D'Artagnan, who is our youngest brother, was mostly involved with like testing and stuff. And he's now in the process of helping do the block out of a different game that's unrelated.
Okay.
So,
So then my next question, because we know that Quantum Error is exclusive to PlayStation 5 for the time being, at least we know. So what specific advantages did you guys harness when you developed it for the PS5 that kind of shows like it being specifically built for the platform?
The main thing, actually one of the biggest ones, was the SSD, because this is the first time we've tried to build something that's seamless, where there is no like chapters, there's no loading screens, nothing like that. So it's like once, other than cutscenes interrupting you, you pretty much start playing the game, and you don't really stop until you like go through the whole game, which is quite a bit different, especially when you build the game that way. Especially allowing the player to be able to go back and forth like throughout the levels and revisit them and have things go unnoticed as they load. That was probably the biggest one.
And then the controller, of course, because
yeah,
haptics, adaptive triggers, it dramatically changes the way the game feels, and it would not feel the same on other platforms in that regard.
If you were to turn off the DualSense features, which there is options in the game to do that, and try playing it, wow, it's like something is gone.
It's a night and day difference.
Oh wow.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, you're harnessing the power of the PS5 and definitely taking advantage of the DualSense controller for sure. So then we obviously, because Fame mentioned a little bit about how big your team is, right? And you having a team basically of 4 people. Did you guys find that having a smaller team kind of help you guys have like drive the one vision and stick with that one vision? Where like obviously some bigger teams and stuff, you kind of get too many heads or too many cooks in the kitchen, right? That could derail a title and make things a little bit harder to do. Did you guys find that having a smaller team helped you guys develop and how you wanted to lay out the game a lot better? Like, was that a good advantage for you guys to be a small team?
Yeah, we think so. Because when it comes to our process, it's pretty much what, like, we just say, like, okay, we want to do this, and it's like, okay, that's a good idea, let's do it. We just decide to do it, and we don't really spend a whole lot of time like we'll like debate stuff, depending on whether we think it's good for the game, it makes sense for the game. But for the most part, if we think something's cool and we decide, hey, let's do this, it's just, okay, do it, let's figure it out.
Yeah, we don't spend a whole lot of time going back and forth constantly. It's pretty much we all agree on one thing, let's do it, and then we just get it done.
And I think
it makes it really easy.
From some things I've heard about in other parts of the world or different studios and stuff, I know that there's obviously for them like a process of like approving things or figuring things out in a different manner, which is normal and good. But I do like the smaller, like, you know, if we want to do something, we just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm going to audible a little bit because this might be a throw-in question here that I don't have written down. But since you guys are a small team and you guys have had, you guys use that process to figure out what you guys want to add and put into the game, right? Did you guys find that there was anything in the game that you guys were going to try to add, but maybe it didn't work out, or the features that you're trying to implement didn't end up turning out to be what you needed to be, so you had to can it?
I actually cannot recall any.
So in this game, we actually managed to get everything we wanted into it. However, there was at times where we were trying to figure certain things out and they were not working exactly right. So actually, like the microphone, for example, blowing into it for CPR, there was a moment where that was like acting up, and I had to keep messing with it until it would finally work, because that was a very interesting mechanic to get working. But for the most part, everything's in there. There are some things that could have been like expanded even more, but it might have been pushing it too much. There might have been like certain things may have dragged on if I had done too much. So it was kind of a balance of like, what's too much for this stuff.
Yeah. And I will say, I think since launch, this is the second time I've seen someone utilize the actual microphone as a feature, because you're obviously using it for CPR. And I think the last time I actually used that feature was literally Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, Astrobot Playroom. So that's interesting. That was kind of interesting. I was like, oh wait, this is a thing. So then my next question, I would say, because they talk about a little bit about how your first game, Kings of Lorne, right, the Fall of Iberus, which came out, I'm gonna say, was it
end of 2019 into beginning of 2020.
And that's only on PS4, right? I didn't find it anywhere else.
It came out on PC also. However, there was the launch for it was weird because there was a weird problem with DX11 with full screen mode, which caused the launch on PC to be a little negative. And then I think it was February of 2020 that we released it on PS4.
Okay. So then, I was kind of interested, right? Because your Teamkill Media, I was like, I love the logo, and I was interested to see what else you guys did. So then that's what I found, was that you guys did the Kings of Lorne, the Fall of Iberus, that came out, X amount of years ago. And it didn't seem like it had like a big critical reception. I don't think I really saw any critic reviews on like Metacritic. And the score, I think the user scores, at least in the PlayStation 4 side, was coming out low. It was at like a 5.9. Didn't have like super many reviews. So what things did you guys take from when you made, your first entry, right, Kings of Lorne, the Fall of Iberus, and what learnings and teachings did you take from that game to help make Quantum Error a better, more fleshed out game? So like, did you learn anything like when you were making that one, and then use those basically to improve your, the new title that you got coming out?
Oh yeah. That game, so it didn't have much attention at all. We kind of didn't, like, we were like a ghost, like didn't exist practically. So probably why it got little to no attention or reviews. That was basically the learning game, because before that we've never made a game, and all of our skill sets are in like photography and video and painting and drawing and stuff like that for me, and music. I had a little bit of knowledge for programming, but not enough to fully grasp it. So I think it was 2016 we started everything, and it was basically learning how to make a game while making a game. Okay. And it went back and forth. It took about 3 years, I think, to make that game as well. I think if I made that game now, it would only take about 1.5 years, just because I know more. a lot of things could have been done better for that game, but I mean, I'm still proud of it. And we took that knowledge over to the next game, but like optimization, like this Quantum Error, we've gotten to run at 60 FPS like 99% of the time with very minimal dips, whereas Kings of Lauren I think was like 30 and it had dips.
I think it had dips into the 20s sometimes.
But at that time, we could not find enough to learn how to properly optimize for a video game, whereas now we've gotten to that point. So I think that's the main thing with that.
Okay.
But also, I mean, gosh, the first time we've dealt with, you know, a console and getting a game onto that kind of platform, which Sony has helped with that game. Like, anytime I need to know something or ask something, they answer right back. And then even for this game. So it's just been like learning while creating it. And then Quantum Error has been more like, okay, now we know how to make a game. We know how these things work. And then it was like, okay, now we have another new console, a new engine halfway through. And even that was more learning. So yeah, it was a learning game, and pretty much all experience from that was put in to make everything better.
Speaking of engine, you guys are currently running on Unreal Engine 5, is that correct?
Yep, 5.2.1, and we started in Unreal Engine 4. So this game is kind of a hybrid of methods as a result, because the game, I think, structurally may have been like 70-something% done by the time we decided to switch, which when we were deciding to switch, we were scared to death. Like, I was sitting here and I had all these backups. I was like, I don't know if I want to switch yet. I got to see how this is going to turn out. And then the early access of it came out and I was like, oh gosh, do we try this? Do we do this? We finally jumped into it, and whoo, I'm glad we did, because the lighting changed completely with what we could do. The nanite stuff was pretty cool. We could not take 100% advantage of nanite because some of the meshes in the game are not super complex like that, but we were able to add to it anything complex we wanted. So it does end up being like a hybrid kind of thing.
Okay. So I guess when you guys moved from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, was there like any struggles when you moved to that engine, or did the Unreal Engine give you Unreal Engine 5 give you a lot more like advantages that you didn't have in Unreal Engine 4?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's both. So yeah.
That's both worlds. Get the struggle and the advantage.
Yeah, because like the struggle is definitely that you're playing around with like cutting edge tech that's not 100% tested. Like, some of the stuff is still experimental. So like the stuff we use for like the prying open of the doors is considered experimental. It's like an internal sequencer or something. And then like chaos destruction was still getting like fleshed out fully. Gosh, what else was the shadow maps for the game was experimental still. So like a lot of those things, like you'll play around with it and like, you know, it might have an artifact or something's a little weird. You got to figure that out. So there's the struggles of like learning the new stuff and trying to figure out how to do it. And if something doesn't work, I know Nanite didn't like to play well with masked meshes. So like if you had a what would it be, like a chain link fence or something, which is technically just solid, and the material makes it look like it is a chain link fence. That would sometimes be solid and not show up right, but then by the time we updated to 5.2, it was fixed. The advantages was the fact that we could add so much more, like the space station in the beginning of the game, I think is like 3 or 5 million polygons or something. It's insane. There was many things like that we could put in the game then as a result. The virtual texturing was really cool, because then the game could load the detail of the textures based on what you could see versus what you couldn't see. And that kind of helped to allow things to be a higher resolution without paying for it fully. Okay.
And Lumen.
Yeah, Lumen. Oh gosh, the Lumen lighting.
It's beautiful.
The game looked good before on Unreal Engine 4, but man, the Lumen system, because it reacts exactly how light is in real life, and like all the light bouncing and filling in the environments, if you turn that off, the game looks really different. It's like pitch black almost.
Oh, okay.
So that I think Lumen is the single biggest thing that was improved by far.
Well, cool. I mean, that's great to hear that it ended up turning out good for you guys, right? Switching from Unreal 4 to 5, because that would probably be, I can't imagine being in your shoes, like making that jump to it and hoping everything would be okay. So that's great that you guys got a lot of advantages from it.
It's scary. So you have to back things up and make sure that if something goes wrong, you can go back.
Yeah. So I guess, how long ago did you guys actually fully switch to Unreal Engine 5?
When did the early access come out?
I'm wanting to say early access started sometime in, I think it was early 2021.
Okay.
And I don't think we switched until September.
We were late.
Year.
We waited a while. I think it was one of their later previews, because I was scared to death that if I jumped to a preview version, which it warns you that, hey, this is not production ready, things could go wrong, so be careful, back your stuff up, and don't ship on this.
I mean, by the time the game was already, like a year and a half in development?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was very scary to try to jump a project like that into a new engine. So,
but it turned out perfectly, so Unreal knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. So then, I obviously... go ahead.
No, that was...
no.
You good, Logan. You heard yourself.
I heard myself. Oh, geez. So me personally, I don't know about you guys, but I love my platinum trophies. I love getting trophies, achievements, and all that stuff. So I wanted to talk about like how difficult is it to get the platinum trophy in Quantum Error?
So
I'll tell you one thing. I know what you guys did, but I don't want to say it. Right?
So if you don't have a guide to follow, it's going to take you a million years.
It's going to be a pain in the butt.
It's going to be a really difficult platinum.
Okay.
We made it challenging, and actually I will put 90% of the blame on him. He came up with most of the trophies.
I did.
But I think it was just, I don't know, the fact we wanted it to be challenging, because I'm actually not much of a trophy hunter, but I know he is.
Yep.
So that was kind of his thing to do.
Because to me...
So you made it hard on him. And then in turn made it hard on all of us. I see you.
I mean, because you're getting a platinum trophy, which is basically trying to complete a game 100%. So in my mind, it should be challenging. So, I mean, just to give people an idea, you have to beat this game at least 4 times to earn the platinum.
I did find that out. I found that out the hard way.
But there's a million different collectibles.
Like, that's the fire chief. I should get all of them. And then I remember I was like, uh-oh, I don't get all of them.
No, I remember I got that message and I was like, oh, oops. Which that's the way I did it, but yeah.
I guess for our trophy hunters out there, because I know a ton of people, me personally, I love trophies. I love collecting them and getting platinum and stuff like that. So, I mean, that would be good, because there is a lot of secrets to find. There's a decent amount of collectibles to get. But, the trophy list, at least from what I've seen, is actually fun and challenging to do. So that's always good, because you do have the challenging side to it, and you do also have the fun side to collect them. So I think overall it's a good trophy list, but that playing 4 times, man.
Yeah, I think the thought process on that was the fact that you can find all the collectibles within one playthrough, because you don't nothing's hidden in levels you can't return to. But at the same time, I think it was considered that people would probably play on New Game Plus and play through, and then anything you unlock, you're allowed to use. Nothing gets you don't get locked out of winning trophies. So if you want to use all the cheats and continue to get the trophies, you can.
Which, I mean, going through the game with all the cheats and just blast enemies away is pretty enjoyable to earn a platinum.
So
we at least made it easier as you go.
Okay. Well, cool. I like to hear that, and it'd be interesting to see how many people is going to go for that platinum and see that percentage go up. But then speaking of not really platinums or anything, but we kind of, I think you guys already put this out here, but Quantum Error is a part of a trilogy. right? If I recall, I remember seeing this. And there's a little tidbit of a hint at the end of this one that I thought was kind of cool. But I'm not going to spoil it for anything. Just, hey guys, stick around when you beat the game. But what do you guys think? Will you guys be able to get the sequels out like faster now that you guys kind of got like the groundwork and you got the vision and you kind of know what you guys are doing? Like, will the sequels be released like more in a faster fashion? Do you guys like have a plan on when you guys are going to maybe like show off like stuff for the sequels or anything like that?
So yes, and there's a lot.
That's fair.
I think yeah. So there is a hint at the end of the game that is a reveal of the name of the next game.
So nobody skip the credits.
Yeah. Well, actually, you can skip the credit.
You're trying to tell people that.
But there is a post-credit scene, yes, that hints at it. The next games, I think, will go faster because we have a foundation now, and actually, we have already started on the building the fundamentals of the next game already, and there's even something we're doing that hasn't been done in video games in a really long time, and people are gonna have to wait a while to see that because. Yeah, we don't want to give that away.
Spoiler
for a while.
alert, we'll be back to interview you guys again in a couple of years. We're going to get that information out of you.
Oh, yeah. But when we're ready to show gameplay off of the next game, then everybody will see what I'm talking about. I'm pretty excited and giddy about it. But yeah, no, it should be quicker. Like, this game took 3.5 years. I think the next ones could be as soon as 2, maybe.
Okay.
And actually, in this next one, because we have other projects going on in like a pre-production stage as well. There is a quantum error related game that's going to be being developed at the same time as the next one, and so it's like, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's just related.
Okay.
So,
are you guys developing that too, or is that like you're giving a name and someone else is like taking it?
No, it's all us. It's all us. Because it's quantum error related, it'll share a lot of the same programming and stuff, but totally different story based on a side thing.
Okay. Well,
So there's going to be a lot of
yeah, cool to hear. We're going to have, obviously, the future looks like we're going to have a lot more quantum error-esque worlds that we're going to get to explore. And then, so we know that the game's coming out here relatively soon. By the time this video comes up, it will be 1 day away from early access, right? Early access is the 31st.
Yep, it'll be right before that, and I'm pretty sure that once early access starts, the game's available to buy pretty much for everybody. So it's almost like we get a multi-day release date.
Yeah, because you got basically digital can get it between
Digitally,
yeah. The digital copies can be available between the 31st and November 3rd.
Yeah.
And then the physical releases, they come out on November 3rd fully, right?
Well, there was a little issue with that. So the physical American is now November 10th due to some production delays. And the European one has got something that's being corrected right now, and it's been pushed out to, I think, December 8th now, which is unfortunate and nobody's fault. It's just the way things kind of went for the physical version, but luckily that seems to be where it sits now for the physical versions.
Okay, so basically the full, so it's almost like the game digitally releases on the 31st, because if you buy it between the 31st and the 3rd, you're going to get access to the game.
Yeah, you get it.
Okay.
So it's like we're going to have a release month practically at this point.
So we know that the game is intimate. It's coming out. It's on PlayStation 5. My final kind of question is, when are we going to see this on Xbox? Do we got a time frame? Do you guys might know how much longer it's going to take for you guys to put it on the Xbox platform or even PC? Do you guys have a scope and an idea of when it might be available beyond the PlayStation?
Yes and no. So right now, because of the PlayStation 5 release, things have been slower working on the other ports. But they're still being worked on. It's complicated because like the PC version is going to use a lot of NVIDIA stuff, and so we're playing around with all this stuff that's pretty new, and it looks amazing. It'll like what the Cyberpunk stuff recently used, their newest update. So RTX DI and some really neat ray tracing. The Xbox version, so like on Xbox Series X, the game performs identically, runs the same frame rate, same resolution, and everything, and runs good. Loading is slightly noticeable due to the SSD being a little slower. So like going between certain areas, you do notice like a hitch. And we've done pretty much everything we can, and that kind of is just at that point. The main thing holding back Xbox is the S. The as good as I can get it on the X, and the X is amazing, the S is so far under that console that it makes it... I don't like the way it looks.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, we're not gonna release the game until that looks good, because we don't want to just be like, hey, yeah, here's our game on this console, give me your money. Because if it's gonna be a lesser experience than what everybody's getting on PlayStation 5 or possibly PC in the future, I don't want to do that to people and give them a lesser experience, because that's not fair.
Okay.
Everybody needs to get the same good quality experience, and we'll work until we figure that out. It's why we canceled the PS4 version, because the game would have needed to be reconstructed, and it wouldn't have been anything like the PS5 version.
Okay.
So if
I don't know.
Don't know yet.
So do you guys have like a timeline to Xbox, or you guys are just whenever it's ready, it's going to be ready?
Yeah, kind of your second one there, because
Okay.
I want to make sure it's absolutely perfect and that it takes advantage of what the Xbox can do. And I want anyone who plays on Xbox to get equal same experience that PS5 gets, and not be... I mean, I know adaptive triggers obviously is not an Xbox, but everything else should be the same, as close as possible.
I think you might have to change the CPR up a little bit.
And
A little
I want to mention, because I noticed not too long ago on social media, there was I think you guys were getting some unnecessary backlash just because this game was built with the PS5 in mind, with the PS5's SSD and the PS5's controllers. And I think on social media, things kind of got construed, and you guys were just saying, hey, this game is going to work better on PS5. So I guess one of the questions you guys kind of answered already is, what could you say to that person who has an Xbox, who sees this game, is like, hey, this game looks amazing. What do you kind of say to that gamer who's looking forward to it, but they do not own a PS5 now or yet, but they want to be able to experience your title on the Xbox platform?
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Like, we were comfortable from the last game and everything doing PlayStation, so it was a lot easier to get into the PlayStation 5, and then we kind of went for, we're going to develop it for PlayStation 5, and we're going to take advantage of all these new features. And then when we went over to the Xbox, it's a little different. So it's going to take time to adapt that to how the Xbox does it. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll have it done soon. But I mean, PlayStation 5's experience with this game it's going to be different. Like, no matter how it is on even from PC to PlayStation 5, there's just going to be a difference. And the best, like, immersive experience as far as like controller to game is the PS5. But we're gonna try, hopefully for everybody, for Xbox, if we can get the S to cooperate, it will be as equal as possible for them, so that they're not missing out on anything.
Yeah.
But what about the Nintendo Switch?
Obviously, like, I think the reasoning that you have there is obviously, it's a good reason, right? You don't want to give a worse experience on a different platform, right? So I think your heart's in the right place, and I understand why, because if you look at like what MK1 that just recently launched on a Nintendo Switch looks absolutely atrocious, and it was the same $70 price tag that the devs were asking, to get paid to get into the game, right? So I think you guys' heart's definitely in the right place for the Xbox version, waiting to get it more optimized and wanting to put it out so it's not a lesser experience for the people on that platform that would be, that are experiencing a little bit different to what the PlayStation 5 counterpart is. So I think you guys' heart's definitely in the right place for that move, and I don't think that you guys probably should have got the flack that you guys did for it, because you guys are humans. Your reasoning when you're talking to me right now, it makes total sense.
Yeah,
because right? it makes sense. I don't hear anything malicious from it. So it seems like you guys are just
put the game out and be like, okay, we want the money. But
yeah, because that's the thing you're gonna get. People would buy it, right? It wouldn't be well optimized. It wouldn't be in a good position. And then they're gonna what are they gonna do? They're gonna go to inflame you guys for putting out an inferior product on a different platform. I mean, it's like a lose-lose.
We're not in this to make people's to get their money and give them something that's inferior. Like if it's not gonna live up to what we put out for one, we'll wait. We're not gonna try to pull people's wallets apart for it.
Yeah, and then so obviously I want to finish up. I respect your guys' time. Obviously, thank you for coming doing this interview. With the game being just literally days away, right? We're talking the final countdown that this is going to get into everybody's hands. Are you guys super excited for people to dig in? Are you excited to see what the reception's like, to see what people think? And then also what's the support for Quantum Error been like? Have you guys seen are you guys going to get a Metacritic score, from a critic side, on this game that kind of puts you I think on a different map, right? If you get a little bit more traction and stuff on that critic side. So what's been the support that you guys seen so far?
So far it's been pretty fantastic. We have a lot of people, a lot of reviewers playing it. It's actually been a 3-person full-time job just to keep up with everybody that wants to play it and review it. And what's kind of funny to us is it seems like the game is longer than we thought for some. It tends to be...
Fire Chief will extend your playtime for sure.
Yeah.
If you're playing on Fire Chief difficulty. I will say that wholeheartedly. If you're playing on Fire Chief, it's definitely a longer than your traditional first-person shooter. That would be 4 to 8 hours, right? For kind of that standard. But it is a little bit. I would say it's more I'd put it on the length of Doom Eternal. I think had a little bit of a longer length to it and stuff. But yeah, we got our code. I want to say I started downloading last Wednesday and started playing it. And I forget exactly what day I put the tweet up to say that I completed it, but it was sometime this week. So I think it took me a little bit over a week to get through it.
That's for reviewer standards. We know reviewers go through. We want people to don't play a game like a reviewer. Take your time.
The thing is, I feel like I did take my time because I went through a lot of corners, a lot of crevices, a lot of exploring.
You devoted yourself to it. I like that.
And the thing is, I think 20 hours. Sub 20 hours for a first-person shooter is that's not a bad time. That's not a bad time limit. That's not rushing anything. That's not, I would say if you beat this probably in 6 hours or so. I don't know if that's even possible with the content that's in the game, but that would
speed running. How
my last speed run I did, I completed the game in 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh wow! Okay, well,
it's possible.
I did not know that.
You liked those invisible enemies, didn't you?
No, I did not. No, I absolutely did not. I thought I was in a game-breaking bug with them damn invisible enemies.
You know what? This makes I know we're still doing the video. This makes so much sense now. This makes so much sense now because Logan mentioned he's like, "Hey, I am dying from nothing." This makes so much sense now.
I messaged Fame and I was like, dude, I don't know if I can get the review in time because I was like, I think I'm in a game-breaking bug. I literally said that to him and I was like, I'm going to reach out to the devs. I want to see what's going on because I was just so befuddled. But
I thought that might happen with some people, but I was like, Amnesia had an invisible enemy a long time ago. Maybe everybody will figure it out. No, there's been quite a few that are like, what's happening?
I'll be definitely scrolling through Twitter on release day to see how many people have come across the same enemy, the same issue that I ran into. But yeah, it's been really swell talking to you guys. It's been nice putting a face to the credits that I've seen roll down the screen and talk to you guys and get a little bit more of a deep dive into Quantum Error and your guys' inspirations and stuff. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Obviously, the game is right around the corner. Releases, I would say it releases October 31st, which is Halloween, right? You can buy it between then and then it's fully available to anybody to buy on the 3rd of November. And so where can people find you at? Where can people get a hold of you guys at and stuff? Share your personal Twitter handles. I know you guys got the Quantum Error, Twitter handle that is very active and responding to the community and stuff like that. So, but yeah, where can we find you guys at?
So yeah, the main one would be quantum_error, which I run all of the social for it. So when everybody's talking to the social or the Twitter, it's me. Okay. And then Noah's got a Twitter.
My Twitter is at Noah T Jones 08, and basically I'll talk to everyone just as much as the main Twitter account. So
and other than that, I mean, we got websites for both teamkillmedia.com, quantumerror.com, or it's quantum-error.com, and try to keep all that updated as much as possible. And yeah, pretty much it.
Okay, cool. Well, I think that's unless anybody else has anything left to say or anything else left to say, I think that wraps up our interview. So yeah, much appreciate you guys stopping in and hanging out with us on this beautiful Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks.